First and foremost, let me see if it's alright. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to all Yakim on the highways and byways. I want to get on this, So, like, you got our people, dyeing their hair. I know this girl. She talks about how she's pro-black, right? But she dyes her hair blonde, and she has a white friend. It's confusing. You're about your people, but yet you hang with the enemy, and you dye your hair blonde to be like them. You know. Not only that, but Jake. I remember I was walking home from camp. I seen Jake riding bicycles with Esau. It's like, yeah, Esau didn't want, like a killer. Esau, like, he don't like you. Gets me mad when I see our people, hanging with him. It's like, why? But I want to get into this. Esau, I'm gonna entitle the video. Esau is not your friend. You know, he doesn't want what's best for you. I remember I listened to this music artist, but he died though. He had an overdose. Called Juice WRLD. And before he died, he had eight of my friends who were encouraging him to do drugs. He was already messed up. You don't know. Whatever he went through growing up, but just saying that Esau encouraged wicked behavior. I remember this one time my sister told me that her teacher um tried to convince her to be a bounty hunter. I don't know, I don't know, a paid killer for hired to kill people. That's basically what my teacher tried to convince my sister. It's like he's a devil. That was an Edomite. But anyways, I want to get into this. He never discovered America, and he wasn't a good man. Columbus was a mass killer and the father of the slave trade. I want to get into this. Christopher Columbus is a polarizing historical figure whose life has been defined for many by his astonishing courage, intestinal fortitude. Nevertheless, such impressive traits should never blur in the fact that he oversaw a murderous quest for material riches that resulted in the utter demise of people each year. As Columbus Day comes and goes, a question is raised: why are we celebrating his life? Christopher Columbus was an immensely talented mariner who navigated the Santa Maria and two other smaller ships across the Atlantic Ocean in search of Asia. However, he and his crew inadvertently arrived in the New World on October 12, 1492. Their long and arduous journey was driven by one clear objective: to find and establish a long-term source of wealth, preferably gold, for the King and Queen of Spain. In return, Columbus would be allotted 10% of the profits, governorship over Newfoundland, and awarded the prestigious title Admiral in Ocean Sea upon arriving in islands, which we now refer to the Bahamas. Columbus and his crew first encountered the Arawaks. It was at the faithful, those are Israelites, from the northern tribe, basically, Native Indians. Well, yeah, so-called Native Indians. It was that fateful juncture in human history that made two keen observations regarding these indigenous people. Firstly, they were docile and trusting in nature, and secondly, they wore gold jewelry. Columbus' own words from his personal journey capture an ominous fate that awaited Arawaks. They do not bear arms and do not know them, for I showed them a sword, and they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron, their spears are made of cane. They would make fine servants with filthy men. We would subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. That's not, that, oh man, that gets me so mad, man. Thinking of that, look at that. They didn't even want to, look at this. They were nice people. Like, that gets me mad. Like, Jake, I look at Jake today, right? We think about Jake. The ones in America, I used to go to the school where you had the northern tribe that was born in America and the northern tribe that came over from the other countries. there's a completely different spirit they have. That they're not overly aggressive like the ones in America. You know, all these gangster movies. You know, not only the Northern Tribe. You know, but so-called Haitians. They're calm people. All of the tribes. You know, when they come over from these other countries, they don't act like the ones here. You know, they're not assholes. You know, you got what's up? What are you looking at, nigga? Trying to fight me? Huh? I don't like the way you looking at me. I don't like the way you said that, cuz. You know, you got Jake over here ready to fight you over anything. Over anything. I like them shoes you're wearing. I'm like, what's that? It's like Jake, like, what hood you from? You know, you got Jake over here. And you can see the difference in spirits. You know, Jake, that's not right, man. Why don't you fight somebody that actually has weapons? You saw the. Man. Man, Esau, man. Fighting people that don't have weapons to fight you with. You're really fighting. This is gonna be heavy, man. Just to read about what he did. He not only he did this to people that weren't even armed. Imagine that you're fighting people that weren't even armed. It's like taking a gun and shooting up civilians that don't have weapons to fight for them. He's also a coward, man. Bravery to sheer brutality. It was at this point in time that his bravery had begun to shift to sheer brutality. His transition is captured in many of the notes that he has sent to the king and queen of Spain to bolster expectations. In one particular note, he promised as much gold as they need and as many slaves as they ask. Soon thereafter, he and his men kidnapped a number of Arwaks to force them to identify other sources of gold throughout the region. With extensive arsenal of advanced weaponry, coursers, Columbus and his men arrived on islands that were later named Cuba and Hispaniola. Present-day Dominican Republic, Haiti, upon arrival, sheer magnitude of gold which was readily available set into motion a relentless wave of murder, rape, pillaging, and slavery that would forever alter the course of human history. The death of 3 million people. A young Catholic priest named Bartolome de las Casas transcribed Columbus' journals and later wrote about the violence he had witnessed. The fact that such crimes could potentially go unnoticed by future generations was deeply troubling to him. He expanded upon the extent of Columbus' reign of terror within his multi-volume book entitled The History of Indies. There were 60,000 people living on the island, including the Indians, so that from 1494 to 1505, over 3 million people had perished from war, slavery, and the mines. Who in future generations will believe this? I myself, writing as a knowledgeable eyewitness, can't hardly believe it. Such words after the reader a first-hand account of the state-sponsored genocide that the Spanish Empire had financed through Columbus. Clearly, the intent of the Spanish Empire was to eradicate the islands of the indigenous people through slavery and violence, and in doing so, they had further established their already dominant political, economic standing within Europe. In matters of years, Columbus and his men decimated indigenous people of the Caribbean islands. So, Esau, man, he's a devil. He's a killer. Let me see if there's more on him. Alright, let me read down. Not only, no, you know what? I'm gonna get someone else. Jonestown. Another devil. A people temple agricultural project better known by its reformal name. Jonestown was a remote settlement established by the People's Temple, a cult under the leadership of Jim Jones. So basically, this guy right here, Jim Jones, killed the Venezuela, Guyana. Like basically, he had killed people, 900 people. The Jonestown Massacre occurred on November 18, 1978, when more than 900 members of an American cult called People Temple died in a mass suicide murder under the direction of their leader, Jim Jones. It took place at the so-called Jonestown settlement in South American nation of Guyana. And, he basically killed people. Yeah, look at these are Israelites, the northern tribe. He killed 900 of these people. That was an Edomite, set up by Esau. Basically, how he did it was, what disorder did look at this, Esau, Jim Jones, he's an Edomite. My thing is, if you're an Edomite, no, not Edomite, if you're, like, an American goes over here and just starts killing people, he was under the rulership of Esau to kill people, you know? So basically, he killed, when more than 900 members of an cult, American cult, had called the People Temple died in a mass suicide, Kool-Aid, So basically, to show their loyalty and obedience, they had to drink the Kool-Aid. Basically, he poisoned it with cyanide. What was in the Kool-Aid, as Jim Jones, at the point of fact regarding the phrase itself, it is not known with certainty which of two great powder flavors. Okay. Wait, this is not telling me. Jones proposed revolutionary suicide by way of ingesting a powder drink mixed lethally laced with cyanide and other drugs which had been prepared by his aides. Basically, he killed them unaware. Esau, you know, I'm about to get into why he did it. Hold on. Before this is Esau. No, this is Esau right here. I wish life had a rewind button. You know, most of these massacres Esau does, right, is directed towards Jake. This is Esau. He wish he had. I wish he. This is Esau. He wants his birthright. He wish he could turn back the time. Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou had a perpetual hatred, and had shed the blood of the children of Israel, by the force and the sword, in the time of calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So it had an end, But Esau furthered the affliction, you know. Amos. Amos 1:11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. How many minutes? It's not telling me. He did pursue his brother with the sword, and his anger did cast off all pity. His anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So Esau has a perpetual hatred because of his birthright. It tells you in Hebrews chapter 12 verse 17. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited a blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. you know, it was too late. Basically, you know, he had no, there's no coming back from that. He sold it already, and so he cried because he couldn't get it back, you know. But it's his fault, you know. It's not. Ultimately, it's the Most High story, you know. I want to get this video. You know, this is a kids movie, right? Kung Fu Panda, but it's this, right?
Look at me.
You know, I just want to get into it. Why see it? You know, it kind of correlates with Esau and his birthright.
Come over here.
Let me skip it.
I know he can seem kind of heartless, but you know, he wasn't always like that.
According to legend, there was once a time when Master Shifu actually used to smile.
No. Yes.
But that was before.
Before what?
Before Tai Lung.
Yeah, we're not really supposed to talk about him.
Well, if he's going to stay here, he should know.
Guys, I know about Tai Lung. He was a student, the first ever to master the 1,000 scrolls of Kung Fu. And then he turned bad, and now he's in jail.
He wasn't just a student. Shifu found him as a cub, and he raised him as his son. And when the boy showed talent in Kung Fu, Shifu trained him. He believed in him. He told him he was destined for greatness. It was never enough for Tai Lung. He wanted the Dragon Scroll.
You know, think of the Dragon Scroll, right, as the birthright, or you know, his birthright, the blessing, right? Now look what he does when he doesn't get it.
But Oogway saw darkness in his heart and refused. Outraged, Tai Lung laid waste to the valley. He tried to take the scroll by
So you could, like, in a sense, right? He couldn't get the birthright. You know, not the Dragon Scroll. So what did he do? He started tearing everything up because he couldn't get it. You know, ain't that Esau? He can't get the birthright. He can't get the blessing. So what is he doing? Destroying the whole world. You know, ruining everything.
force, and Shifu had to destroy what he had created. But how could he? Shifu loved Tai Lung like he...
But yeah, I was, you know, wait, there's another video Esau made with Loki and Thor, you know. I forgot what it's called. Esau knows, man. Esau knows, you know, he lost his... Which one is it? I think this is the one. You know, all these movies and TV shows you see, you know, it's about Esau and Jacob, you know, Esau and Jacob, Optimus, you know, a lot of shows, like, you know, just The Flash, you know, Reverse Flash, The Flash, Thor and Loki, you know.
Someone needs help customizing and saving with Liberty Mutual.
I don't think this is the one. Tribute. Still not showing me the one I want.
Am I cursed? No. What more than that? The casket wasn't the only thing you took from Jotunheim that day, was it? No.
Alright, okay, I can't find it. I'm gonna try to look for it. This is the one I want to break down.
Your birthright was to die.
So think of that Loki, right? The guy with the black hair, as Esau. Okay, let me break it.
Your birthright
Think of that. Like not physically, right? We all know this is not the Lord, and this isn't. Just think of that as the Lord, right? Speaking to Esau.
was to die.
And this is Esau. Look at this. I want to, because Esau knows this movie. I don't know how they make this video. Whoever made this video, man, really had a good eye. You got Esau trying to sympathize with Loki, bunch of demons, anyways. But listen to this. Watch, I'm gonna break it down while we go through it.
Am I cursed?
Can frost giants still live?
I'm monsters that parents tell their children about at night.
I'll hunt the monsters down and slay them all.
Your brother. I never was.
Ain't that how Esau sees us? Esau doesn't see us as a brother. The scriptures tell you that he stood afar off and he saw the captive take us away. And he was our captives ourselves, himself, roughly paraphrasing.
I want to destroy that race of monsters.
See you in hell, monster.
Lovely son.
I am Loki of Jotunheim.
More than that.
You might want to take the stairs to the left, monster.
Abandoned, suffering, left to die.
Always so receptive about everyone but yourself.
I am Loki of Asgard.
So I am no more than another stolen relic.
Where is my disadvantage? You lack conviction.
All this because Loki desired.
You can hear in the background. This is all of this. He does. You gotta watch this movie. Loki and Thor, right? You can. I don't know, 1 through 3 movies, but listen. It says he does all of this over Asgard because he wants Asgard. Asgard is basically the throne. He's supposed to be rulership over Asgard. You can see that with Esau. Esau wants to rule over the world forever and ever, but he's not gonna. He does all of this because he wants the world. Just if you listen in the background, you can see it with a spiritual eye that this is Jacob and Esau.
All this because Loki desired.
He desires Asgard. Basically, see the Asgard and see as, basically, see the Asgard in this video as the world. He wants Esau wants the world, but he's not gonna have it. He wants to rule over forever and ever, like like us, but he's not gonna.
And you're dead.
So everything he does, no matter how hard he look, you got. Well, okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Came with a son of Odin.
Ain't that how he sees the Most High? Does he doesn't acknowledge him as the Most High, or the one that created him? That's like in this video. He's not his father. He's not my father. You can see how he yelled with conviction. Esau. That's Esau. This is Esau. You can see it in his spirit.
Who controls the would-be king?
See that as Jacob. See that Thor as Jacob. What?
Well, I guess that's what. And I am burdened with glorious purpose. Freedom is life's great lie. Once you accept that, you will know peace. You will all fall. Loki's mind is far afield. It's not just power he craves, it's vengeance.
So ain't that Esau? Ain't that Esau? Loki? Ain't that Esau? Look at that. He just said he not only craves power but vengeance. Also, he thinks he was supposed to be king, and he was rejected. So you got him crying at the beginning of the damn video. I forgot where, but he was crying somewhere. Look right here. He's crying at at 13.
Monsters that parents tell their children about.
That's him. That's Esau.
Life's great lie. Once you accept that.
Vengeance, He wants power to rule the world and vengeance. So Esau also. So basically, this is Esau on the whole. He just said it. Just like in his video, he craves power and vengeance. Ain't that Esau? Ain't that the spirit of Esau? He craves power and vengeance, you know. He wants to rule the world and destroy Israel, you know, because he wants to, because of what we did.
Look, Israel is far afield. It's not just power he craves, it's vengeance.
Look at Esau. Look at him. Look, that's Esau, bro. That's the spirit of Esau. Look at him. Look, look, he's about to break down in tears. You know. Anyway, I want to get that scripture, man. It looks like he's about to. Esau's about to get hurt. It looks like he's about to get hurt. He's hurt. Hebrews 12:17. For you know how that after when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So that's Esau, you know, that's him pleading for his birthright. Ain't that Esau? I remember Esau always clowning Jake for the thing Jake does, you know, always trying to make mockery, because Jake is always in the spotlight and Esau isn't. You know, it's like a brotherly rivalry when you see Esau, you know, typical Edom, you know, the peons, you know. Ain't that Esau living in the shade? You know, what talent is he? No one looks at Esau and say, damn, I want to wear a suit and tie all my life. Dang, Esau got nothing going for him. Nothing. Nobody wants to be like him. That's Esau. He's mad. Esau wants people to look at him like people, the heathen look at Jake, you know? I remember this one time, right? This was years ago. I had a pair of Ray-Bans. I was out on the train. I was slouching back on the train with my Ray-Bans on, and I seen you got Ishmael, right? A seat across from me on the train. He looked at me. He had the shades on his forehead, and he left them down and put them on his eyes, and he leaned back in the chair with me. I was like, I'm thinking to myself, why would he copy me? You know, that's Esau. Esau wants that to happen to him. Like, damn, wish someone would be like me. Nobody wants to be a weirdo. No one wants to be a devil. No, you know, that's Esau's mad. He's trying to popularize what he's good in, what he's good at is being wicked, and no one with it but himself. Nobody wants to follow him around, you know. Ain't that Esau? He did everything you see before you, right? These skyscrapers, these elevators, electronics, everything you see. It's not only to distract Jake and move him away from the Most High. Oh, this cloning system, Esau can clone holograms. It's not only to distract Jake, but to prove to the Most High that he's worthy of his birthright. You know, look what he says. You know, that basically see that as the Most High saying no. No, Esau, look, I could have done this for you. You know, wait, let me reread. You know what he said? He could have done it for you. Yeah, he's talented, yeah, devil. Esau, that's Esau. Look at him.
What makes you think you can trust me when you don't? Talk about peace, and you kill Muslims. A good seed from which to watch Asgard work.
But you know what's interesting? They said in the movie once, Asgard is a people before it's a place. So that tells you right there that Esau ain't Israel a people before it's a place too. So basically, he's talking about the people. I want to watch Asgard burn. He's basically talking about Jake. Oh man, I'm getting confused. He's basically talking about the people of Asgard. Same thing with Esau. Esau is mad. Don't trust Esau. If you got to deal with him, that's different. But be wise about it, cause Esau is sneaky. He'll set you up. He'll rat you up. But that's it on that. First and foremost, I want to end it like that. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, double honors to El Great Millstone, and salutations to all Yakim on the highways and byways. Till next time, say Shalom.